Let me ask you something. How long have you been waiting? Waiting for the perfect time, waiting to feel ready, waiting for motivation to magically appear. Guess what? It's not coming. No one is coming to save you. No one is going to give you permission. If you want to change your life in 2025, you have to decide right now that enough is enough. Because if you keep waiting, you'll wake up a year from now in the exact same place with the same regrets, the same excuses, and the same what ifs running through your mind. I get it. Facing where you are right now isn't easy. It's uncomfortable, even painful. But here's the truth. You cannot change what you refuse to acknowledge. If you want 2025 to be different, if you want to rebuild yourself into the person you've always known you could be, you have to start with brutal honesty. No more sugarcoating, no more blaming, no more excuses. Just raw, unfiltered truth. Let's be real. You are where you are because of the choices you've made. And before you start feeling defensive, let me tell you why that's actually a good thing. Because if your choices got you here, that means new choices can take you somewhere else. You are not stuck. You are not broken. You are simply a result of your habits, your patterns, and your mindset up until this moment. And guess what? Those things are completely within your control to change. So before we talk about where you're going, we need to take a hard look at where you are. This is where most people get stuck because self-awareness can be painful. It's easier to distract yourself, to blame your circumstances, to tell yourself that things are just too hard right now. But you don't get to rebuild your life by avoiding reality. You do it by owning it. Grab a notebook, open a blank document, whatever works for you. And I want you to answer these questions honestly. No filtering, no trying to make yourself look good, just the raw truth. What habits have been keeping you stuck? What patterns do you keep repeating that lead to the same disappointing outcomes? What excuses have you been telling yourself for why you can't change? And be specific. If you've been saying, I never have time, write down what you're actually doing with your time. If you've been saying, I always fail, write down where you gave up, why you gave up, and what you told yourself in those moments. Because here's the thing. If you don't identify the root of the problem, you will keep repeating the same cycle over and over again, no matter how badly you want change. Maybe you've been telling yourself that you're just not motivated enough. That's not true. The problem isn't motivation. It's the habits you've built around waiting to feel ready. Maybe you've convinced yourself that you're just not a confident person. Again, not true. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build by showing up for yourself. Maybe you feel like life is just unfair, that other people have it easier, that success is for them, but not for you. That's a lie your mind tells you to keep you comfortable. And comfort is the enemy of growth. Facing these truths might sting at first, but it's the most powerful thing you can do for yourself. Because the moment you take full responsibility, you take back your power. You are no longer at the mercy of your past. You are no longer waiting for something outside of you to change. You are the one in control. Now, let's talk about the next step, because awareness alone isn't enough. It's time to use what you've learned about yourself to break the cycle. Most people believe they need to feel ready before they take action. They wait for motivation, for inspiration, for the perfect moment when everything aligns. But let me tell you something, that moment is never coming. If you want to change your life in 2025, you need to stop waiting and start moving. The biggest mistake people make is thinking that action follows motivation. That means you don't sit around waiting to feel like doing something. You start and the momentum will follow. Think about a time when you dreaded doing something, maybe going to the gym, working on a project, or making a difficult phone call. You procrastinated, made excuses, and put it off. But the moment you finally forced yourself to start, something changed. Once you were in motion, it wasn't as bad as you thought. In fact, by the end, you probably felt accomplished. That's because action changes the way your brain works. It shifts you from hesitation and doubt into momentum and confidence. The hardest part is always the first step. And that's where most people get stuck. They overthink, they second guess, and before they know it, the moment has passed and they've talked themselves out of doing the very thing that could move their life forward. This is why you have to develop the habit of taking action before you feel like it. Your brain will always come up with reasons to delay, but you don't have to listen. The trick is to shut down hesitation the moment it starts. The second you start thinking about putting something off, count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. This simple countdown interrupts the doubt, the excuses, and the fear. It forces you to override the part of your brain that wants to keep you stuck. Let's say you want to start waking up earlier. The alarm goes off and your brain immediately starts negotiating just 5 more minutes. I'll start tomorrow. I'm too tired. If you give in to that hesitation, you reinforce the habit of procrastination. But if you count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and push yourself out of bed before your brain has time to argue, you break the cycle. You take control. You prove to yourself that you can act despite resistance. And the more you do it, the easier it becomes. The same applies to anything you've been avoiding. Need to send that email? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, type the first sentence. Need to start exercising? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, put on your shoes and step outside. Need to work on your side hustle? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, open your laptop and write 1 sentence. The key is to make the first move, because once you start, momentum takes over. Another powerful way to take action before you feel ready is to set small, non-negotiable goals every single day. Most people fail because they set unrealistic expectations. They tell themselves they need to change everything at once. Wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym daily, eat perfectly, work 10 hours straight. That's a recipe for burnout. Instead, start small but be consistent. If you want to exercise more, commit to 5 minutes a day. If you want to read more, start with 1 page. If you want to improve your mindset, write down 1 positive thought each morning. These small wins build momentum, and over time, they compound into massive results. The truth is, confidence and motivation don't come from thinking about doing things. They come from actually doing them. Every time you take action, you prove to yourself that you are capable. You build self-trust. You stop relying on external motivation and start relying on something far more powerful, your own discipline and commitment. If you want to rebuild yourself in 2025, you have to take a hard look at what's draining you. Your energy, your time, and your mental space are all valuable. And if you're not intentional about protecting them, you'll stay stuck in the same cycle of exhaustion, frustration, and feeling behind. Most people don't realize how much their environment affects their growth. It's not just about the goals you set or the habits you build. It's also about what you allow into your life. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, distractions, and toxic influences, it doesn't matter how motivated you are, you will struggle to make progress. The first step is awareness. Think about the people in your life. Who lifts you up and who drains you? Who supports your growth and who keeps pulling you back into old habits? This doesn't mean you need to cut everyone out, but it does mean you need to set boundaries. If certain relationships leave you feeling exhausted, uninspired, or insecure, it's time to limit your exposure to them. It's not selfish. It's necessary. You cannot afford to surround yourself with people who make you doubt yourself, who constantly complain, or who don't support your vision for your life. Instead, seek out people who challenge you to be better, who inspire you, and who encourage your growth. The saying is true. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose wisely. Now let's talk about what's stealing your time. We all have the same 24 hours in a day, but some people make massive progress while others stay stuck. The difference? How they spend their time. Most people don't even realize how much time they waste on things that don't add value to their lives. Scrolling endlessly on social media, binge watching shows, mindlessly consuming content that doesn't serve them. It all adds up. Imagine what you could accomplish if you redirected even half of that time toward your goals. The key is to be intentional. Start tracking your time for a few days. Write down how much time you spend on social media, watching TV, or engaging in things that don't contribute to your growth. Once you see it on paper, it will be impossible to ignore. From there, make conscious decisions about how you want to spend your time. If you want to learn a new skill, block out time for it. If you want to get in shape, schedule your workouts like important meetings. If you want to grow mentally and emotionally, replace mindless scrolling with reading, journaling, or learning something new. Your time is your most valuable resource. Start treating it that way. Your mindset is another area where hidden drains exist. The way you talk to yourself matters more than you think. If your inner dialogue is filled with doubt, negativity, and self-criticism, you will struggle to move forward. The good news is, you can change it. Start paying attention to the way you speak to yourself. Would you talk to a friend the way you talk to yourself? If not, it's time to rewrite the script. Replace negative thoughts with empowering ones. Instead of saying, I'll never be successful, say, I am capable of figuring this out. Instead of saying, I'm not good enough, say, I am constantly growing and improving. This small shift makes a huge difference. Your mind believes what you repeatedly tell it, so start feeding it thoughts that push you forward instead of holding you back. Finally, look at your habits. Are they supporting your growth or keeping you stuck? If you stay up late every night scrolling through your phone, you'll wake up tired and unmotivated. If you constantly procrastinate on important tasks, you'll always feel overwhelmed. If you let distractions dictate your day, you'll never make real progress. The solution isn't about willpower. It's about designing your environment to set yourself up for success. Put your phone in another room when you need to focus. Set up a morning routine that primes you for a productive day. Create habits that make success inevitable. The more you remove what drains you, the more energy you'll have to build the life you truly want. If you want to rebuild yourself in 2025, you have to start by seeing the version of yourself that you're working toward. Most people don't achieve their goals because they don't have a clear vision of what they actually want. They say things like, I just want to be happier or I want to be successful, but they never define what that looks like. If you don't have a specific vision, you won't have a specific plan. If you don't have a specific plan, you'll drift through life reacting to whatever comes your way instead of creating the life you want. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself at the end of 2025. Picture the best version of you. What does your life look like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? What kind of work do you do? What kind of people are around you? How do you carry yourself? How do you respond to challenges? The more detailed this vision is, the more powerful it becomes. Instead of just saying, I want to be in shape, picture yourself walking confidently into a room, feeling strong, full of energy, and proud of the work you've put in. Instead of saying, I want to be successful, visualize what that means. Maybe it's running your own business. Maybe it's having financial freedom. Maybe it's waking up every day excited about what you do. When you create a vivid mental image of your future self, you give your brain something to work toward. Now that you have that vision, the next question is simple. What would that version of you do today? This is where most people get stuck. They have big dreams, but their daily actions don't align with them. They say they want to be confident, but they spend all day doubting themselves. They say they want to be successful, but they waste hours scrolling through social media. They say they want to be disciplined, but they keep breaking the promises they make to themselves. Change doesn't happen by accident. It happens when you deliberately start making decisions as if you are already that future version of yourself. If the best version of you is disciplined, then act disciplined today. If the best version of you is healthy, then make healthy choices today. If the best version of you is financially free, then stop wasting money on things that don't matter. You don't become the best version of yourself overnight. You build that version with small choices every single day. Every decision you make is either moving you closer to that vision or keeping you stuck where you are. One of the most powerful ways to reinforce this is through identity-based habits. Instead of just setting goals like, I want to lose weight, shift your mindset to, I am the type of person who takes care of my body. Instead of saying, I want to be more productive, say, I am the type of person who prioritizes my time wisely. When you tie your habits to your identity, they become part of who you are, not just something you're trying to do. This shift is what separates people who achieve lasting change from those who fall back into old patterns. Visualization alone won't change your life, but when you pair it with intentional action, it becomes a powerful tool. The more you see yourself as the person you want to become, the easier it is to make choices that align with that vision. Start acting like that version of yourself today, because the truth is, the future you're dreaming about isn't as far away as you think. It's built one decision at a time. Building the life you want isn't just about setting goals, taking action, and visualizing success. It's also about persistence, because no matter how committed you are, there will be setbacks. There will be days when nothing goes right, when you feel like giving up, when the progress seems too slow and the obstacles seem too big. Most people quit when they hit these moments, not because they aren't capable, but because they expect the journey to be easy. The truth is, growth is messy. Success isn't a straight path. And if you want to rebuild yourself in 2025, you have to develop the ability to keep going even when things get tough. The first step in developing persistence is understanding that failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of it. Every successful person you admire has failed more times than they can count. They didn't get where they are because they avoided failure. They got there because they refused to quit. When you hit a setback, don't see it as a sign that you're not good enough or that your goal isn't possible. See it for what it really is, feedback. If something didn't work, adjust. If you made a mistake, learn from it. If progress is slower than you expected, be patient. The only real failure is quitting. Everything else is just part of the process. One of the biggest reasons people give up is because they focus too much on the outcome instead of the process. They set big goals, but then get discouraged when they don't see immediate results. The key to long-term persistence is shifting your focus from results to effort. Instead of obsessing over how much weight you've lost, focus on showing up for your workouts. Instead of stressing about how much money you've made, focus on consistently improving your skills. Instead of worrying about how fast you're progressing, focus on the fact that you're still moving forward. When you commit to the process, the results will follow. Another powerful way to build persistence is by developing mental resilience. Life is unpredictable and there will be challenges outside of your control. But what you can control is how you respond. When things go wrong, do you let it break you or do you use it as fuel to push harder? When people doubt you, do you shrink back or do you use it as motivation to prove them wrong? Resilient people don't avoid hardship. They use it to grow. And the more you train yourself to handle discomfort, the stronger you become. A simple way to strengthen persistence is by keeping promises to yourself. Every time you follow through on what you said you would do, whether it's waking up early, finishing a project, or sticking to your habits, you build trust in yourself. On the flip side, every time you break a promise to yourself, you reinforce the habit of quitting. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about proving to yourself over and over again that you can rely on yourself. When you develop that kind of self-trust, quitting becomes less of an option. Finally, remember your why. When things get hard and you feel like giving up, go back to the reason you started. What's driving you? What's at stake? What kind of life do you want to create for yourself? Your why has to be bigger than your excuses. The stronger your reason for pushing forward, the less likely you are to quit. The people who succeed aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They're the ones who refuse to stop. Keep showing up, keep pushing through, and keep believing in yourself no matter what.